Hi, Jacob here again with Music Teachnology tutorials. Today we're going to be talking about computers and some of the things that you should look out for when purchasing one. This tutorial will be broken down into stages so you can skip to parts which may be more relevant to what you are looking for. The question you need to ask: is my current computer good enough? If not, what computer should I get? Most standard modern home computers will have the power to run recording programs available on the market. Through this tutorial, we will be discussing the specification options available and which may be best for you. The recommendations made in this tutorial are not gospel, but only my recommendations, and industry standards change daily. Additionally, be aware that computer components are constantly updating, and my recommendations may already be out of date. The way we decide which is best is by comparing how computers are actually made. If we think about how an Apple Mac is made, we can take note that Apple are the only company who make these machines. Therefore, all parts are used the same. This makes it incredibly easy for software developers to structure their product to that particular machine. On the other hand, we have PCs. These PCs are generally built by the people who want them, such as yourselves. This is not such a good thing in the developer's eyes, as they have to create a piece of software that will not only work on my machine, but on everyone else's as well. So before I start rolling off a lot of components I believe would suit your home recording computer, I think it's important for me to run through some of the benefits and drawbacks of building your own home computer. So here are some of the benefits. Building an audio recording computer is not actually difficult. You build the recording computer so you know how to fix it. You will save a lot of money. You select the components and therefore you can choose to use motherboard, processors, RAM and hard drives based on quality and not so much on hitting a rock bottom price point. You will save time because it's quicker to build a computer than it is to remove all the useless junk that name brand computers come jam-packed with. You will be more confident when it comes to dealing with problems. You'll use a case you can actually fit your hand into. Many name brand cases are so small they are nearly impossible to work on. Disadvantages. You are building it, so make sure you wear some kind of static-proof protection to protect your precious components. Some people are scared of computers. If this is you, maybe you shouldn't build one. Some people feel peace of mind knowing that a pro put their computer together. This is a legitimate reason. Warranty is usually limited to 1 year on computer hardware components, unlike manufacturers which may offer up to 3 or 5 years. I can't stress this enough. If you're building a home computer studio, select the sound card first. It's much more difficult to find a computer sound card that has all the features you want or need that fits your computer. Find out what the sound card you actually want or need. This will more likely determine the next few stages of your computer building. You can watch the video I posted under the audio interface section to give you some more idea. The case is fairly basic. There's nothing really special about it unless you want it to have all singing and dancing look with the LEDs. I would recommend going for a case that you like the look of. Make sure it has a fair bit of ventilation to allow air to pass through it. Here are a few I recommend. The Fractal Design Core 1000 computer case. This is a cheap case but has optimum airflow to keep your components cool with surrounding air. Fractal Design XL titanium grey case with USB 3 compatibility. This case is one of the better ones in its class. The build quality is flawless and it offers a silent option. If there's one thing I've learned from building PCs, it's never to buy a cheap power supply. This is what can cause most of the problems throughout the life of your computer. For a computer that is going to be dedicated to running a home studio or music creation, we can make assumptions that the quieter the fans, the better. Here are a couple that I would recommend. Zalman ZM500, 500 watt power supply. Very good quality, cheap power supply. FSP Zen 400 watt fanless power supply unit. This power supply is a little more expensive, but it's passive. This means that there are no fans attached and all the heat is passed through copper cooling pipes within the case. Motherboards only work with a specific series of CPU or processor. There are many different series of processor, and it is extremely important if you plan to use X brand processor, you must select a motherboard that works with it. As long as the motherboard meets the specification of your sound card or computer interface, you should be just fine. There are generally two brands that dominate the CPU or processor scene, AMD and Intel. In my experience, both are 100% capable of delivering tremendous audio performance. One of the brands is slightly more expensive, but from various reviews and deeper research, you'll be able to figure out which one is correct for your system. RAM, also known as random access memory, is the working memory in a computer. Additional RAM allows a computer to work with more information at the same time, which can have a dramatic effect on total system performance. Most modern recording programs such as Cubase, Logic, Sonar will chew right through RAM if you let them. With modern computer software, I would recommend a minimum of 4 GB of RAM. The more the merrier. That's what I say. Graphics cards slot into the PCI or PCIe slots on your computer's motherboard and provide you with a means of connecting an external monitor or screen to your computer. This is all good and well, but check the motherboard specification, as it may come with one built-in graphics processing, which essentially means you won't need a graphics card. Another point to add, you can always add one to your system at a later date. If you do intend on using a computer for other applications such as video editing, then it would make sense to purchase a graphics card. I would tend to purchase a passive one. As a rule of thumb, I would always recommend using 2 hard drives for your recording computer. One for the operating system and the second for all your audio projects and sample files. Another thing to note is that you should buy hard drives that are no slower than 7,200 RPM. We use these drives as they generally allow for a faster transfer rate, which means we can access our audio faster. If you're planning on doing audio recordings, I would recommend buying a CD or DVD rewriter. They're really cheap to buy and always come in useful for when you need to back up those important session files.